Imagine standing in a wedding dress, heart pounding, palms sweating, and the world around you crumbling into chaos. You've spent months planning this day, dreaming of the life you'd build together, only to find yourself abandoned at the altar. That's where our story begins, with a broken-hearted girl named Mia, whose life takes an unexpected turn on one fateful night. As she runs blindly onto a dark highway, tears streaming down her face, little does she know that fate has something extraordinary in store for her. This isn't just a tale of heartbreak. It's a story about second chances, hidden identities, and the kind of twists that change lives forever. Mia had always been a dreamer. Growing up in a small town, she believed love was simple, a fairy tale, waiting to unfold. But reality proved harsher than she ever imagined. Her fiancé, Alex, wasn't just late to their wedding. He never showed up at all. The whispers from guests, the pitying looks, and the crushing silence when the officiant asked if anyone knew why they shouldn't proceed. It was too much for Mia to bear. She fled the venue without looking back, leaving behind not just her dreams but also pieces of herself. Now, as headlights flash past her on the deserted highway, she feels like she's running not just from humiliation, but from everything familiar. The highway stretches endlessly before her, cold and unforgiving, under the dim glow of streetlights. Cars zoom by, indifferent to the fragile figure, clad in white, staggering along the shoulder. Mia doesn't care anymore. All she wants is to escape, to leave behind the pain, the betrayal, and the unanswered questions swirling in her mind. But fate has other plans. Unbeknownst to her, someone is watching. A sleek black car slows down beside her, its tinted windows hiding the man inside. He hesitates for a moment before pulling over completely. It's not every day you see a bride running, wild on a highway, especially one who looks eerily familiar. This man is no ordinary passerby. His name is Ethan Carter, the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar tech company. To the world, he's a visionary leader, calm and composed in every situation. But tonight, even he can't ignore the strange pull he feels toward the distraught woman. On the road, at first glance she seems like a stranger caught in a desperate moment. Yet, there's something about her, something hauntingly familiar, that stops him in his tracks. As he steps out of his car, his sharp eyes narrow, trying to place her face. And then it hits him. Could it be? Is this really the same girl from years ago? The one he met during what he thought was a fleeting encounter. Their paths crossed once before, though neither of them realized how significant that meeting would become. It happened years earlier, during a business trip, where Ethan found solace in the anonymity of a crowded bar. Back then, Mia was working part-time as a server while pursuing her degree. Their interaction was brief, almost forgettable, a casual conversation followed by a night neither expected nor planned. For Ethan, it was just another memory, lost in the haze of travels and work. For Mia, it was a moment of vulnerability she buried deep within herself, never imagining it would resurface in such a dramatic way. Now, as Ethan approaches her, his mind races with questions. What are the odds of finding her here? Like this? Why does she look so shattered? And most importantly, should he intervene? He knows better than to get involved in strangers' problems. His position demands caution, but something about Mia tugs at him. Maybe it's the raw emotion etched across her face, or the sheer coincidence of their meeting again. Whatever it is, he can't walk away. Not yet. For Mia, the sound of approaching footsteps barely registers. She's too consumed by her own thoughts, replaying the events of the day over and over in her head. When Ethan finally speaks, his voice cuts through the fog of despair enveloping her. "Are you okay?" he asked gently, his tone laced with concern. Startled, Mia turns to face him, her tear-streaked cheeks illuminated by the soft glow of the car's headlights. For a split second, recognition flickers in her eyes, but it's quickly replaced by confusion and fear. Who is this man? And why? Does he seem to know her? Ethan senses her hesitation and holds up his hands in a gesture of peace. "I don't mean to intrude," he says quickly, "but you shouldn't be out here alone. It's dangerous." His words are sincere, but Mia isn't ready to trust anyone, not after what she's been through. She shakes her head, backing away slightly. "I'm fine," she mutters, though her trembling voice betrays her. Ethan sighs, realizing he'll have to tread carefully. He introduces himself, hoping his name might jog her memory. Instead, it only deepens the mystery between them. As they stand there on the lonely stretch of highway, an unspoken tension crackles in the air. Mia struggles to reconcile the image of the confident, polished man before her with the vague recollection of someone she once knew briefly. Meanwhile, Ethan wrestles with his own emotions. Torn between curiosity and responsibility, he could easily drive off, leaving her to fend for herself, but something tells him that wouldn't sit right. There's more to this story, and he's determined to uncover it, even if it means stepping outside his comfort zone. Just as Ethan begins to coax Mia into sharing what happened, the distant wail of sirens pierces the night. Red and blue lights flash in the distance, growing brighter with each passing second. Panic flashes across Mia's face. Whether it's the police responding to reports of a runaway bride or something else entirely, she doesn't want to stick around to find out. Without warning, she bolts, disappearing into the shadows lining the highway. Ethan calls after her, but she's already gone, leaving him standing there with more questions than answers. What happens next will test both their limits and force them to confront truths they've long avoided. Will Ethan let Mia slip away again, or will he chase after her, determined to understand the connection they share? And what secrets lie buried beneath the surface, waiting to unravel as their paths intertwine once more? The answers remain elusive, shrouded in the uncertainty of the moment. One thing is certain, this chance encounter is far from over, and the journey ahead promises to be anything but predictable. As the camera fades to black, viewers are left hanging on the edge of their seats, eager to discover what lies ahead for Mia and Ethan. Their story is just beginning, filled with twists, revelations, and moments that will challenge everything they think they know about themselves and each other. Stay tuned for the next chapter, where the mysteries deepen and the stakes grow higher. Until then, ask yourself, when fate intervenes, do we run from it or embrace it? Ethan stands frozen on the highway, his mind racing as he watches Mia vanish. Into the darkness, the distant sirens grow louder, their piercing wail slicing through the quiet night. He knows he should leave, get back in his car, and drive away. But something deep inside won't let him. This isn't just about curiosity anymore. It's about responsibility. Something tells him that Mia is carrying more than just the weight of a broken engagement. There's a story here, one she hasn't told anyone yet, and Ethan feels inexplicably drawn to uncover it. As the police cars speed past him, their lights casting eerie shadows across the road, Ethan climbs back into his sleek black sedan. He grips the steering wheel tightly, debating what to do next. Should he report seeing her? Or does he respect her choice to run, even if it means risking her safety? His instincts kick in, and before he knows it, he's pulling onto the shoulder again, scanning the shadows where Mia disappeared. If there's one thing Ethan has learned from years of navigating high-stakes situations, it's that running rarely solves anything. Whatever drove Mia onto that highway, it's still chasing her. Meanwhile, Mia crouches behind a cluster of bushes off the side of the road, her chest heaving as she tries to catch her breath. Every sound, the rustling leaves, the hum of passing cars, feels deafening in the silence of the night. She doesn't know who the man was or why he seemed so familiar, but right now all she cares about is staying hidden. Her thoughts are a jumbled mess. Alex's betrayal, the humiliation at the altar, the fleeting glimpse of recognition when she saw Ethan's face. She presses her hands against her temples, trying to make sense of it all, but clarity eludes her, replaced instead by a gnawing fear that tonight might be the beginning of something far worse than heartbreak. Back in the city, miles away from the desolate highway, whispers of scandal begin to spread like wildfire. News of the abandoned wedding travels fast, fueled by gossip-hungry guests, armed with smartphones and social media accounts. Within hours, pictures of the empty church and the devastated bride circulate online, accompanied by wild speculation about what went wrong. Some blame Alex for being spineless. Others point fingers at Mia, suggesting she must have done something to deserve this fate. Among the chatter, however, one detail stands out: a cryptic comment from an anonymous user, claiming they saw Mia arguing with someone days before the wedding. The post goes viral almost instantly, sparking rumors of infidelity and betrayal. Unaware of the storm brewing behind her, Mia finally emerges from her hiding spot. Shivering in the cool night air, she glances around cautiously, half expecting to see flashing lights or hear voices calling her name. When nothing happens, she starts walking again, her bare feet crunching against gravel as she moves further away from the highway. Each step feels heavier than the last, not just because of exhaustion, but because of the weight of everything she's leaving behind. Her phone lies forgotten somewhere in the chaos of the church, cutting her off from any chance of reaching out for help. For the first time in her life, Mia truly feels alone. But she's not the only one grappling with isolation. Back in his car, Ethan wrestles with his own demons. He thinks back to the night he met Mia years ago, the way she smiled, despite clearly having a tough day, the genuine warmth in her voice as she talked about her dreams. At the time, he dismissed it as nothing more than a pleasant distraction, a brief escape from the pressures of his corporate world. Now, sitting in the darkened interior of his luxury vehicle, he wonders if he missed something important that night. Could their encounter have meant more to her than it did to him? And if so, what does that say about him? The tension between them grows thicker with every passing moment. Ethan decides to follow Mia discreetly, keeping enough distance to avoid scaring her off. He drives slowly along the deserted stretch of road, his headlights dim to avoid drawing attention. It doesn't take long for him to spot her silhouette moving steadily ahead. She's heading toward a small gas station tucked away at the edge of town, its neon sign flickering weakly in the distance. Relieved to find some semblance of civilization, Mia quickens her pace, unaware that Ethan is still watching. Inside the gas station, Mia huddles near a vending machine, clutching a bottle of water she can barely afford. The cashier eyes her suspiciously, no doubt wondering why a woman in a torn wedding dress is wandering around in the middle of the night. Mia avoids meeting anyone's gaze, focusing instead on the cracked screen of a payphone mounted on the wall. With trembling fingers, she dials the number of her best friend Sarah, praying she'll pick up. After several rings, a groggy voice answers. "Mia, is that you?" Relief floods through her as she hears Sarah's voice, but it's short-lived. Explaining what happened proves harder than she anticipated, especially when Sarah presses her for details about Alex. While Mia struggles to piece together her shattered reality, Ethan parks his car a safe distance away and waits. He debates whether to approach her again or give her space. torn between his desire to help and his instinct to tread carefully. As he sits there, memories of his own past relationships resurface. Failed attempts at love, the sacrifices he made for his career, the loneliness that comes with success. In many ways, he sees a reflection of himself in Mia, someone burdened by expectations, searching for meaning in a world that often feels cold and indifferent. Just as Ethan contemplates his next move, a new complication arises. A sleek silver SUV pulls into the gas station parking lot, its engine rumbling ominously. Two men step out, their sharp suits and sunglasses marking them as anything but ordinary customers. They scan the area methodically, their gazes lingering on Mia for just a fraction of a second too long. Ethan notices immediately, his instincts kicking into overdrive. Who are these men? And why are they here? More importantly, do they have something to do with Mia? Tension mounts as the men approach the entrance of the gas station, their movements deliberate and calculated. Mia senses something amiss and ducks behind a shelf, her heart pounding wildly. She doesn't know who they are, but their presence fills her with dread. Meanwhile, Ethan watches from afar, torn between intervening and staying hidden. He knows better than to act recklessly, but the protective urge swelling within him is hard to ignore. Whoever these men are, they're trouble, and they seem intent on finding Mia. As the men close in, Ethan makes a split-second decision. He steps out of his car, moving quickly but quietly toward the gas station. Inside, Mia clutches the bottle of water like a lifeline, her mind racing with possibilities. Are these men connected to Alex? Did he send them to bring her back? Or worse? Before she can dwell on the thought, Ethan bursts through the door, startling everyone inside. His sudden appearance throws the men off balance, giving Mia a precious few seconds to react. Without hesitation, she bolts for the exit, her white dress billowing behind her as she runs. Ethan follows close behind, shouting for her to stop. The men give chase, their footsteps echoing loudly in the confined space. Outside, the night air crackles with urgency as the four figures converge in a desperate game of cat and mouse. Mia stumbles, her legs giving out beneath her, but Ethan reaches her just in time, pulling her to her feet. "Trust me," he says urgently, his voice cutting through the chaos. For a moment, their eyes lock, and Mia sees something in his expression she hasn't felt in a long time. Hope. But the men aren't far behind. As they emerge from the gas station, their faces grim with determination, the scene shifts into a nail-biting standoff. Ethan positions himself between Mia and the strangers, his posture defensive yet controlled. "Who are you?" he demands, his tone firm and authoritative. The men exchange glances, clearly unprepared for this unexpected turn of events. One of them reaches into his jacket, prompting Ethan to tense up. Whatever happens next will change everything, for both Mia and Ethan. The clock is ticking, and the stakes have never been higher. As the man reaches into his jacket, Ethan instinctively steps forward, shielding Mia with his body. His mind races, calculating every possible outcome. Is this a weapon, a badge, or something else entirely? The tension is palpable, each second stretching endlessly as the world seems to hold its breath. But instead of pulling out a gun or any sign of menace, the man produces an envelope. He holds it up cautiously, his expression softening. "We're not here to hurt her," he says, his voice calm but firm. "This was meant for you." Mia peers around Ethan, her eyes wide with confusion. She hesitates before taking a step forward, her trembling hand reaching for the envelope. Inside, she finds a letter, handwritten and sealed with wax. Her name is scrolled across the front in elegant cursive. As she opens it, her heart sinks. It's from Alex. The words are brief, but devastating. I'm sorry I couldn't go through with it. You deserve better than me. Please forgive me. Beneath the note lies a check, a significant amount of money, enough to start over. For a moment, Mia feels numb, unable to process what she's reading. Was this why he left? To give her freedom. The revelation shakes everyone present, including the men who delivered the message. They explain that Alex hired them not to harm Mia, but to ensure she received the letter safely after fleeing the wedding. Their presence wasn't malicious. It was precautionary. Still reeling, Mia looks at the check, then back at the men, unsure whether to feel anger, relief, or sadness. Ethan watches silently, his protective stance unwavering, even as the immediate threat dissipates. Though the danger has passed, he senses there's more beneath the surface. With the truth about Alex laid bare, Mia's emotions spill over. She crumples to the ground, clutching the letter tightly in her fists. Tears stream down her face, not just for the betrayal, but for the realization that her fiancé chose to abandon her, without ever giving her a chance to understand his reasons. Ethan kneels beside her, offering quiet support. You didn't deserve this, he murmurs softly, his voice filled with sincerity. But you're stronger than you think. His words strike a chord deep within her. For the first time since the wedding fell apart, Mia begins to see a glimmer of hope. Not because of the money, but because someone believes in her. As dawn breaks, casting golden light over the desolate parking lot, Ethan helps Mia to her feet. Together, they walk back to his car, leaving the chaos behind. Along the way, Mia finally opens up, sharing fragments of her story. The doubts she had about Alex, the pressures of planning a perfect wedding, and the loneliness that crept into her life despite being surrounded by people. Ethan listens intently, nodding occasionally as pieces of the puzzle fall into place. He shares bits of his own journey too. How success came at the cost of personal connections. How he often felt like an outsider, looking in on happiness he couldn't quite grasp. By the time they reach the city limits, a bond has formed between them. One built on shared vulnerability and mutual understanding. Ethan offers to take Mia wherever she needs to go, whether it's home, to Sarah's apartment, or somewhere entirely new. After some thought, Mia decides to visit Sarah, knowing she'll need her best friend's support to begin picking up the pieces of her life. Before parting ways, Ethan hands Mia his card. If you ever need anything, he says earnestly, don't hesitate to call. There's a warmth in his gaze that makes her believe he truly means it. In the days that follow, Mia starts rebuilding her life. She uses the money Alex left to invest in herself, enrolling in art classes, traveling to places she's always dreamed of visiting, and rediscovering the passions she set aside while planning a future that never came to be. Slowly but surely, she learns to let go of the pain and embrace the uncertainty ahead. Meanwhile, Ethan finds himself reflecting on their encounter. Something about Mia stays with him, reminding him of the importance of human connection in a world dominated by ambition and achievement. Months later, fate intervenes once more. Mia, now thriving in her newfound independence, runs into Ethan at a charity gala hosted by his company. At first, neither recognizes the other amidst the sea of polished faces and designer suits. But when their eyes meet across the crowded room, there's an undeniable spark of familiarities. They greet each other warmly, catching up on everything that's happened since that fateful night. As they talk, it becomes clear that their paths crossing again isn't just coincidence. It's a second chance. The evening ends with Ethan inviting Mia to dinner. And this time, there's no hesitation. Both have grown since their last meeting. carrying lessons learned from heartbreak, loss, and self-discovery. Their relationship blossoms naturally, rooted in trust and authenticity, rather than fleeting moments of escape. Together, they navigate the complexities of love, proving that sometimes the most unexpected beginnings lead to the most meaningful endings. Looking back, Mia realizes that being abandoned at the altar wasn't the end of her story. It was merely the prologue. It forced her to confront her fears, redefine her dreams, and open herself up to possibilities she never imagined. And Ethan, who once prided himself on control and precision, discovers the beauty of surrendering to life's unpredictability. Their journey reminds us all that even in our darkest moments, there's potential for growth, renewal, and connection. As the final scene fades, viewers are left with a powerful takeaway. Life rarely follows the script we write for it, but those detours often lead to destinations far richer than we could have planned. Whether it's a bride running wild on a highway or a CEO stepping outside his comfort zone, the stories we tell ourselves shape our reality, and sometimes the greatest adventures begin when everything falls apart.